So ASP.NET Core is the open source, cross-platform and modular framework. We have already discussed what is mean by the open source, cross-platform, and as these terms are already associated with the .NET Core framework. The open source means the code is already available on the Git repository. The cross-platform, as this term suggests, it can be deployed on the multiple OS such as macOS and Linux OS along with the Windows operating system. The modular framework. This is ASP, just like the .NET Core. The ASP.NET Core is the modular framework. That means the packages can be added on demand and that the packages can be removed by using the NuGet Package Manager. This will result in a better performance. And the ASP.NET Core is the web application development platform provided by the Microsoft. So what is the .NET Core platform? The .NET Core platform gives us the environment to create the variety of applications. And what is mean by the ASP.NET Core? It is the web application development platform which is provided by the Microsoft, right? So basically, what are the requirements to create the ASP.NET Core project? Basically, you can create the ASP.NET Core on the system on which the .NET Core framework is already installed. So you don't have to install the ASP.NET Core separately on your machine, right? Suppose you have the current version of .NET Core 6.0, then the ASP.NET Core supported here will be the 6.0 only. No confusions over the ASP.NET Core version and .NET Core version. The both will have the same version or same major version in whenever you are going to create the project in the .NET Core 6.0 or 5.0 environment, right? So you don't have to install the ASP.NET Core separately on the system on which the .NET Core framework is already installed. So what kind of applications we can develop in by using the ASP.NET Core? So actually you can create the web applications, IoT applications and mobile backends. As well, you can create the services also. Here we can use the various types of editors. I have mentioned some of the editors by using which we can develop the ASP.NET Core applications. These are Visual Studio, Visual Studio Code, OmniSharp, JetBrains Riders, and here I have mentioned .NET CLI, that is command line interface. So you can also create the ASP.NET Core application by using the command line interface. We have already discussed this in our previous session, and we have created one web application by using the command line interface. The same application we are able to build, we are able to publish the same application by using the .NET command line interface. Here the ASP.NET Core also supports the advanced feature such as NuGet Manager. So the NuGet Manager will help to add the new packages whenever required and remove the packages on demand. So you can have the better access to the components in ASP.NET Core technology. Next is the ASP.NET Core features. So basically, these are the features which are mostly supported by the .NET Core framework. Similar to the .NET Core framework, the ASP.NET is cross-platform. As the ASP.NET runs on the .NET framework only, all the features which are available in the .NET Core are useful or are used in the ASP.NET Core environment. This is just an platform, or this is just the platform to create the web applications by using the .NET Core framework, right? So you can here the first feature of the .NET ASP.NET Core is the cross platform, that you can run your application in variety of operating system. Then the next is the multiple environment. Here the multiple environment means not the operating system. Here the multiple environment means the UAT environment, the QA environment, the production and staging environment, which we are going to discuss in this particular multiple environments topic. So if you have a code which you wanted to execute in production only, right, and that code should not get executed in the development environment. So in this scenario, you can do some configuration in startup.cs file, right, to execute the code in the particular environment only. Suppose uh, in the earlier frameworks, there was a custom errors attribute, right? So if you wanted to just like that attribute, here some of the environments specified that will help you to execute your code in the specific environment only. Suppose you wanted to display a file or an exception page for the production environment and the detailed exception page in the development environment only. Like you wanted to display some generic error exception page in the production and the detailed exception page in the development environment. So here while developing your application, you can specify which page, or if you are writing the code for the production environment, you can specify the exception page details in the particular section, and whenever the code you are writing for the development environment, you can specify the exception details page you wanted to get display while developing the application. This topic we are going to cover in our upcoming sessions in detail, right? So basically this topic is all about to execute the code which are going to be executed in the production and which you wanted to execute in the development environment only. Next feature of ASP.NET Core is unified MVC and Web API framework. Here the MVC and Web API can be created in a single solution, right? This feature has been included in the ASP.NET Core to support or to merge both the API and MVC to come both these environments or both this framework under the same roof. So the MVC controller can also return the JSON data as well. Also we have included, and or we can see that the razor pages are also included in the ASP.NET Core. So basically, what are the razor pages? These razor pages are a simple and a page focused framework. That is, you will be having a HTML page and also the class file for development in the in your application. So single file will be having one file for the HTML code and one file for the one class file for your code implementation. So these razor pages are also included in the ASP.NET Core technology. So you can create the ASP.NET Core razor application by using the template available in the ASP.NET or .NET Core framework. So also the ASP.NET Core supports the dependency injection. So this is basically used within the MVC itself. This is the great feature which is provided automatically or default in the ASP.NET Core platform. So this will help you to create automatic or automatic logging or to create the database concepts whenever you are passing the controller to your applications methods or controller methods. So basically we don't have to write the log in ASP.NET Core. The automatic logging is enabled here. We will be covering that in our session as well. So anyone is aware of the CSRF attacks? Anyone of you, can you just tell me what is the CSRF attacks?
It is one kind of vulnerability and penetration testing parts, VAPT parts, that hackers or the entity from external world can hack our application by
How to
storing our
mitigate that?
URL. Huh?
How to avoid this kind of attacks? Have you done anything in your .NET framework code?
No. But in MVC, in our project, there is we are having tie up with third party. They will provide support to restrict this attack. But I don't know how to do in .NET or MVC .NET Core.
Okay, so basically, yeah, please
we
continue.
used to actually we were using anti-forgery token actually as an attribute, the function
And in
or
pages,
method.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So validate anti-forgery token you can use in your pages to to avoid this kind of attacks. There are CSRF attacks, and
What kind of attack this? What kind of attack?
so basically CSRF attack is the cross-site request forgery attack. So basically what happens, the attacker can hijack your session and it can request the controller by the same URL. So every time whenever the request is passed to the controller, there for every request there is a separate token associated with it for every request. So these tokens are validated in the application server. So if
Can
you
you
have
some
created,
example?
yeah, we will discuss this. We will discuss this in
Okay,
the
agree.
sessions. So this is just to give you what are the features which are available in the ASP.NET Core technology. We will discuss this in detail in our upcoming
So
session.
this feature was not in .NET before core.
So in .NET framework, you have to write some code to methods to avoid this kind of attacks. So this is the feature which is included in the .NET Core. So by default, to
Okay,
avoid
got.
this kind of attacks. Here next feature is the asynchronous programming concepts. So have you ever heard about the async await keywords? Have you ever developed any web APIs in .NET framework?
By using .ajax method in JavaScript,
Okay,
we have called async calls.
okay,
Right? There we are using async and
Actually,
awaits also.
yes, yes, okay. Anyone
in web
else?
services, we can use the as synchronous request and asynchronous
Yes, okay,
these verbs. Yeah.
okay. So basically, these are the asynchronous programming concepts where whenever you are making any calls to the particular methods, the method will wait for some time or to execute until the execution get completes. In the asynchronous programming, the call will be passed to the next method while the execution of the first method is already running, right? So basically, the control will not wait for the first method to complete its execution. So this is called as the
Sorry to
asynchronous
interrupt. Can
programming.
you please repeat it again? The asynchronous support.
So in ASP.NET Core, it supports the asynchronous programming model. While if you are creating two methods, or if you are having the two methods in the traditional way, whenever you are calling the first method, it will get executed, then the second method will get executed. If you don't want to wait for the execution of the first method, suppose that method is method A, and you have to, or you wanted to go to the second method, then you can pass the control to the second method by using the asynchronous programming concept. We will cover this part in our sessions as well. So basically, this will help to improve the performance, because the method A will take around 5 seconds to get the result, then the method B will get executed, it will take another 5 minutes to get the results. So if you can use the asynchronous programming concepts such as async await keywords in your web API, then whenever the method A is called, you don't have to wait, or you can program in such a way that whenever the method A is called, in the same time, or whenever the before getting control to the method B, or before getting the result from the method A, you can execute the method B, and once both the results you will be getting, then you can pass the control to the end of the method. In this way, if the method A is taking 5 seconds and method B is also taking 5 seconds, but in this asynchronous programming, when the method A is getting called, in the same time we are passing controller to the second method, right? So if both the method are taking 5 seconds and 5 seconds, that means the both will collectively take 10 seconds, but in asynchronous programming this will take around 5 to 7 seconds, as both the methods are or the before executing or before getting the result of the method A, we are going to execute the method B, right? So in this way, the time required to execute both the methods will be reduced, which will improve our overall performance of the application. If this is not clear right now, no problem. We will be covering this portion as well while creating the ASP.NET Web API project.
Yeah, I can understand as per the explanation by you. So I just want to have one more thing. Like you said, you made a comparison for two methods, right? Method A and method B. Like
Right.
one method A is starting the process on its own, and method B is also simultaneously processing the result, right? So before we are getting a result of method A, whether we will be receiving a output for method B, or once we receive output of method A only, then the method B result will be get published. Like how to
You
do
can program in such a way that once the method B will get the response, then after you can pass the control to the end of method, or the execution of the specific method will get executed. So in a way you can perform, or you can use the threading as well. So if you wanted to show the result once the method A is executed, then you can pass control the method B, so that you can the overall API response you will get. Suppose you are creating one order, right? Suppose you are doing one transaction on some shopping site, right? So here there are two methods. First is to do the transaction, and second is the send communication, right? So if you wanted to get response once the method A, that is do transaction, is complete, and you wanted to get control back, or you wanted to get a response after once this particular transaction method is completed, because send email will just send some email or just SMS to the users only, right? So if you wanted to pass the, or you wanted to pass the control to the end of the method, you can pass post doing the transaction, right? This is also possible using the asynchronous programming. This is the one way. Or second is, both methods can be executed in a parallel manner, or once the result of the send communication method is getting to in an application, then you can pass the control to the method or method end, or the end of method. Got it?
yeah.
Okay. So in detail, with example, we will be covering this part in our session also. I was just giving you the example of what is async and await keywords, and how this works in the ASP.NET Core environment. So next is the Swagger support. So any one of you aware of this Swagger concept?
Uh, it's used to like basically test our APIs, like APIs we have created by providing the URL, we can see the result in JSON format or XML. I mean, they have different formats to they have given.
Yes, correct. It's basically it will help to uh, maintain the APIs and what are its signatures, right? It will help to test these APIs by using the Swagger. We will be covering one session on Swagger as well. So this will help us to understand how the Swagger works, or how the endpoints are displayed along with its request signature and the response parameters which are available in that particular method. So we will be covering the Swagger part in our session also. Next is the side-by-side app versioning. As we have already discussed that Microsoft ASP.NET or .NET Core technology is making their releases very frequently. So every release you can see every release can be coming in a month, or within a span of 2 or 3 months. The patches are available there. Some of the minor releases are coming. So Microsoft is continuously evolving its architecture to support a variety of applications and make it compatible with variety of operating systems, variety of the platforms, and it wanted to cover the large audience which are developing their applications by using the Visual Studio, the apps like the Visual Studio as well. So the .NET Core is continuously evolving and making their changes, or making the bug fixes which are already exist in the .NET Core framework. It also provides the versions or the previous versions for development of the application also. So you can, current version of the .NET Core is 6.0. So you can develop the application in 5.0, 3.1 framework as well. Though that frameworks do not have the latest feature because some of them are already outdated, that the support is not available for the for that particular versions, right? So what is mean by the out of support versions? Anyone of you remember what is mean by the out of support, and what do you mean by the long time support? Okay, so
Yeah, the out of support in the sense the version is already published and the service is served by the Microsoft. If the long-term support is the one which is a big a version update which they were provided like the ASP.NET 3.1 and 6.0. Is that the one, right?
right.
Out of support means it is a fixed version. Now no more enhancement or modification is will be available in that version. It is the final version, right? And no more support from Microsoft will be provided.
Yes, for the out of support, there will not be new features or bug fixes will be added for the version which is called as the out of support version. And long time support versions, which is currently 3.1, I think 3.1 is under the maintenance now, but the 6.0, which is a long time support version, and for this support, the Microsoft will provide continuous features. It will add some new features, and it will make some minor changes or bug fixes for this particular environment for security purpose also. So the Microsoft will provide the continuous support for its latest version. Some are coming versions for the .NET Core are 7 and 8, which will be coming in the November 2022 and 23. Now these are the features which are available for developing the web application by using the ASP.NET Core framework. Now how it differs, how the .NET Core and the ASP.NET Core differs, or what are the basic differences between .NET Core and .NET ASP.NET Core. So basically the .NET Core itself is a platform which gives, or which is the framework which gives environment to create the web applications, console applications, services, IoT apps, right? And the ASP.NET Core is a platform which gives, or which, by using which we can create the web application. So you can say the .NET Core will help to create the applications using the ASP.NET Core platform, and the ASP.NET Core platform which runs on the .NET Core framework only. As the .NET Core is the open source and cross-platform, these both features are supported by the ASP.NET Core also. Right? By using the .NET Core, we can create the. I already told that this the applications for the application rise for console application, which can be created for the desktop and the mobile applications, then IoT applications. All these type of applications we can create using the .NET Core, and by using the ASP.NET Core, we can create the application which are related to the web apps, IoT and mobile .NET. Here we have already specified that we can create the applications in ASP.NET Core, and for that we don't have to install any other environment except the .NET Core, right? To create the ASP.NET application, you just have to be installed the .NET Core framework in your system. If the .NET Core framework is installed in your system, then you can create the ASP.NET Core applications. So what are the applications we can create by using the ASP.NET Core? For that, we can directly check or cross check by using the command line interface by the command .NET new -list. Here it will show all the applications which can be created by using the .NET Core, right? And what are the application templates which are available with the ASP.NET Core? Out of the template types, we will be considering, or we will be using the major template types, such as creating the MVC application, web API, Razor Pages, ASP.NET Core application with ADO.NET technology and entity framework core, and with ORM tools such as Dapper, we will be covering in our session. So in these sessions, you will be getting the brief idea about creating the MVC app, web API app, the web API application with the Razor Pages. We will be creating the application by using the ADO.NET. We will be creating the application by using the entity framework and ORM tools such as Dapper, and we will be creating one application with Angular as a front-end technology. Here we will be using the web APIs to get the data or fetch the data from backend, and that part, all these template types or the application development by using these kind of templates, we will be covering in our ASP.NET Core sessions, right? So that's it for today. We will be discussing the next chapter in ASP.NET Core in .NET Core, which is the ASP.NET Core application development by using the ASP.NET platform in the coming session.